Hi, everybody. First of all, thank you, Elastic, for accepting me as a speaker in this Elastic Community Conference 2022. I'm Fabio Pipitone, and I'm here today to talk to you about a tool we've been working on for over the past few months, the Elastic Performance Inspector. I'm a managing consultant at Key Partner. Here is my contact, should you have any further questions or doubts after the presentation. And as I said, I'm here to talk to you about EPI, the acronym. What drove us to design and develop this tool is basically the question, are you getting the most out of your Elasticsearch? And this comes from our experience, because as Elastic Partner, we have made many assessments. We generally make many assessments on our client's cluster. And we easily spot those that we call homemade clusters, because it's so obvious they are not set up by experts. Best case scenario, they are set up by DB experts who knows little to nothing about the Elastic best practices. And so after a certain amount of time, they call us and they say, why isn't Elasticsearch as fast as it used to be? And the answer is simple. It's because you're not using it properly. So we run our assessment, we run a bunch of queries, we use the diagnose tool, we collect data, we correlate data, we apply some logics, and at the end of the day, we basically output our report that says, okay, your sizing is not correct, your storage RAM ratio is not correct, you're basically ignoring every possible best practices recommended by the vendor, and so on. And this is basically what EPI does. It does it for most of it anyway. It does it fast, it does it automatically with the press of a button. And this way, it saves us time and it saves also our clients money. So just to give you a brief demo, brief presentation, it is installed as a Kibana plugin. So you basically can exploit the plugin install script provided by the vendor. And you will find after the installation, after the start of Kibana, you will find it in the sidebar. There's a new section, which is EPI, and you can access the home page. As for now, there are three sections: the home page, the details, and the history. The home page provided you with the general score of your cluster of your last computation. You can run a new computation, and in a very short time lapse, relatively short, it'll do everything I said previously, and it'll provide you with a new computation. This score, is the average of 3 macro area scores. We basically compute, as for now, 15 KPIs, which are logically divided into 3 macro areas: the hardware level, the index level, and the usage best practices. The average of these 3 is the general score of your cluster. If you want more details about each single KPI, you can go into the details page, and here you will find each single KPI with a brief description, the individual score. If you hover over the score, you will find the description about how that score is computed, and some additional info, just like a question mark info or a warning info, depending on the API. There are also some KPIs that are locked because maybe you need a license to compute them. For example, these ones need the audit features. So you need a license just like Gold, Platinum, Enterprise, Trial, or whatever. Finally, in the history page, you will find the history of your computations. So you can see how your cluster is performing over time, for a certain period of time that you can pick in the date picker. A point we want to stress is the fact that everything is done inside your stack. So your data will leave the stack. And this is very important for us. You don't have to extract your data and load it into another third-party app, but everything is done inside Elasticsearch and Kibana. And what's more important, you can use also the Elastic features on those data, on those pieces of information, because the outputs of EPI are written into Elasticsearch indices. It means you can use the alerting functions, the machine learning functions, but also you can build your own dashboards on those pieces of data. In fact, as a matter of fact, during the initialization phase, the first time you run the plugin, we also create a dedicated space, the EPI space, and we load into it some pre-built saved objects. So index patterns, visualizations, and dashboards. Obviously, you can navigate to that specific space, but there's a link. You can see the cursor is changing. If you click on the card of a macro area, you can directly access to the dashboard we pre-built. We're thinking about improving this dashboard. For now, there are basic data. There is basic data about the computations, So the general score of the macro area over time, the average of each single KPI over time. But most importantly, at the bottom of this dashboard, there is a drill down section, which is basically a saved search that tells you what is going on for each specific KPI. For example, I got 3 on these unused fields in the last computation. Why did I get 3? I got 3 because if I explode this document, I can see the fields. The first 4 fields are always the same for each KPI, and the fifth one has a content that varies according to the KPI. In this case, you can see you have this index pattern in this page that has two total fields, and you're only using 1 in your visualization or dashboard or saved search as for now. So you got 5, and this other one has 7 fields. This other one has 7 fields, and you aren't using any, so you got 1. The average of the two gives you the the general score for this specific KPI. So you can have a better understanding of what's going on in your cluster. So you have you can drill down, you can really go deep into the details. So that's all for today. Just to go back to the presentation and to sum it up, we really built API with nativeness in mind, because if you allow me this term, because we build it as a simple Kibana plugin, very easy to install. You can benefit from the Elasticsearch features, just like machine learning alerting on the output data, and also the role-based access control. In fact, together with the pre-built saved objects, we also load some pre-built users and roles. It has its own dedicated section in Kibana. You don't have to open any third-party app, extract your data, and load your data into any external app or a server or whatever. And it is Kibana style. In fact, we built API using only the Elastic user interface elements. And we did that both to enhance the user experience. For example, you don't have to get used to a new date picker, because the date picker in the history page is the same date picker you would find in the discover section. And we also did that to facilitate our work, basically, as maintainers, because we basically rely on what the Elastic guys do, on their libraries, frameworks, interfaces, and so on. So that's all for today, and thank you for your attention. Please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions or doubts or whatever.